Welcome to this explainer. Have you ever felt that sudden, undeniable wave of relief wash over you when your evening plans get canceled? Like, thank goodness. If you're someone who genuinely gets way more excited about putting on your favorite pajamas than a night out on the town, well, welcome. You're about to feel very, very seen. Today, we're going on a bit of a journey of psychological validation. We're breaking down the actual science behind why some of us just love staying at home. So get comfortable, grab a blanket if you want, because what we're going to explore is absolutely going to change how you see your own downtime.
Okay, let's dive into this. You know that friend who always cancels plans? The one who is suddenly, magically sick again or just so tired and hits you with the classic, maybe next time? Yeah. Think about that person for a second. Honestly, maybe that person is even you. The truth is, that friend isn't avoiding you. They're actually protecting something incredibly vital to their well-being. And that instinct, that urge to protect their peace, is exactly what we're unpacking today.
Section 1. The Under-Misunderstood Homebody and Redefining the Friday Night In.
Section 2. Your Social Battery Explained and How We Actually Recharge.
Society loves to slap the label of boring on someone who prefers to stay indoors, right? But to understand why staying home is so appealing to so many of us, we really have to look at the underlying mechanics of how different people regain their mental and physical energy. And this brilliantly illustrates the contrast. We literally all have a social battery, but the way we charge it, totally different. On one hand, you have extroverts. They actually recharge by being around people. Their energy comes directly from the noise, the movement, the complete chaos of the outside world. But introverts and people who naturally prefer solitude are the exact opposite. Every single social interaction, even a really fun one with people they absolutely adore, slowly drains their battery. For them, they recharge in stillness. Home isn't just a place to sleep. Home is literally the only charger that actually works.
There's actually a formal scientific name for this. It's called optimal arousal theory. Basically, this is the psychological concept that individuals require different levels of stimulation for their nervous systems to feel good. Some people desperately need a high amount of external stimulation to feel properly activated. Others, they need way less. For them, a quiet room is perfectly stimulating. This is purely about how your nervous system is biologically wired. It's not laziness. It is certainly not FOMO or a fear of missing out. It's simply your brain managing its optimal state of arousal, creating an environment where you feel balanced, safe, and just entirely at ease.
Section 3. Controlling your environment and the power of predictability.
There's actually a lot more going on here than just introversion. A huge part of why we love staying home is the profound sense of control it provides, a level of control that is absolutely impossible to find anywhere else. Think about the outside world for a second. It's inherently unpredictable, isn't it? You've got loud strangers, last-minute changes to your schedule, and, the dreaded small talk with people who don't actually care about your answer. But at home, you control everything, the lighting, the noise level, the entire vibe. For highly sensitive people, or for anyone dealing with anxiety, this kind of environmental control isn't just a luxury or a fun preference. It's actual survival. It's a carefully curated safe haven where you get to make the rules.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the wild psychological finding that solitude actually breeds brilliance. Studies show that people who enjoy their alone time tend to reap some pretty incredible cognitive benefits. We're talking being more creative, highly introspective, and significantly better at problem solving. Staying home isn't just doing nothing. It's often the exact environment where the best ideas are born. I mean, a brilliant breakthrough rarely happens in a crowded, noisy bar. It happens in a quiet corner with a good book or during one of those deep thought spirals at 2 a.m.
Let's be completely honest with ourselves here for a minute. Society heavily romanticizes being out there. We're constantly bombarded by influencers, party pictures, and this relentless live your best life culture on our feeds. But what if your version of living your best life is watching a hyper-niche documentary, eating some warm soup, and having zero obligations to anyone else? I mean, that sounds amazing. That is not sad. In fact, knowing that about yourself and owning it, that's the ultimate form of self-awareness. Section 4. Solitude versus hiding, and the darker nuance.
It wouldn't be a complete psychological explainer if we didn't acknowledge that sometimes the drive to stay home comes from a much heavier place. There are definitely times when staying in ceases to be about recharging and instead becomes a symptom of something else entirely. When the urge to stay home is driven by severe social anxiety, unresolved past trauma, or depression that quietly whispers in your ear, what's the point of even going out? Well, that's when the dynamic shifts.
For people battling these shadows, home can unfortunately turn from a comforting refuge into an isolating cage. So, the crucial point is this question right here. Does staying home fill you up, or does leaving simply feel too heavy? I really want you to think about that for yourself for a second. It's the defining line. Because staying home to fill up your cup is a beautiful, healthy form of peace. But staying home because the outside world feels impossibly heavy, that's hiding. And recognizing that difference is the very first step toward getting the right kind of support if you need it.
Section 5. Wired for Peace and Embracing the Quiet Life.
But let's bring it back to those of you who find genuine restorative peace in your solitude. We are celebrating the deliberate choice to step away from the noise. If you truly love staying home, I want you to know that you are not missing out on anything. You're simply choosing to live differently. There is such a profound beauty in finding joy in small daily rituals. It's the comfort of your exact morning coffee routine. It's the absolute familiarity of your favorite spot on the couch. It's pausing to just notice the way the light hits your living room at sunset. These are the quiet, magical moments that most people rush right past because they're too busy looking for the next big event. But for the homebody, these moments are the main event. Psychologists actually have a specific term for this deeply contented state, low stimulation preference. Basically, this is the psychological trait where an individual possesses such a rich, complex inner world that they require very minimal external entertainment to feel fulfilled. They simply do not need the outside world to put on a big show for them. Their own thoughts, their hobbies, and their quiet environment provide all the stimulation they could ever need. Actually, scratch that. It doesn't mean they don't like people or lack ambition. It just means their baseline for satisfaction doesn't rely on constant external input.
So, if you're someone who turns down invitations without a single ounce of guilt, who feels genuinely thrilled waking up to a completely solo Saturday, and who would honestly rather rewatch your comfort show for the 10th time than go out and make memories at a loud club, I want you to hear this loud and clear. You are not broken. You are beautifully wired for depth over noise. You prioritize peace over performance. And honestly, that is something to be celebrated.
So, I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder today. Tell me, do you genuinely prefer staying home, or do you think we're all just making perfectly crafted psychological excuses to avoid putting on hard pants? I'll let you be the judge of your own social battery. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep honoring your peace, whatever that looks like for you.